Question six. Just have to signpost that. All right. The visual and audio aspects of. Let me say that properly. The visual and audio aspects of a legend of a Zelda game often play a crucial role in immersing players into the world. Now, how did the graphics, art style, and music contribute to the overall atmosphere and storytelling in The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom? What do you make of that question?
It's a mouthful. I'll give you that. The audio is very similar to Breath of the Wild. There are musical stings for important moments, but there isn't a lot of background sound. The diegetic sound rules. But visually, I think it plays very much like Breath of the Wild, just like a little polished up. I feel like it looks a little better. And one thing I must note is much, much better is the lighting and shadow engine.
Okay.
That is fantastic. It was great in the first one. As you carried a torch, you cast your own shadow and you moved around, and it was it was very, very well done in Breath of the Wild. But it really is exceptional in Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this intimately because, as I mentioned before in the previous video, the game couldn't expand horizontally. They had a kingdom, they had a set size, and the kingdom's size has not changed. In fact, most of the landmarks are still there. So instead of going horizontally like the first one, they went vertically, up into the clouds and below. Now, on the normal land, there are a bunch of caves. Cool. You down a well, find a cave. It's fun. But there is a new strata, and I have to tip my hat to the advertising. They really promoted the idea of going up into the clouds. There's little to nothing to do up there. There's story beats, a few pieces here and there, but it's pretty sparse compared to an entirely new kingdom underground. It's called the Chasm, and you see it very early on in the game. In fact, you need to go down there in order to unlock the camera, which is vital for later points of the story. But it is an entire kingdom, but it has its own ecosystem. It is like deep cave with its own enemies, its own problems, and a lot of classic enemies are infected with what's called gloom. They're like souped up versions, toxic versions of existing characters.
I see. Wow.
But it's underground, so most of it is pitch black. You can't see anything. You have to kind of jury-rig your way through with light sources. You have to create light sources, little stepping stones to work your way through to create natural light. And it looks incredible. Most of the time, you just add a light bulb to an arrow, shoot the arrow, you watch the light go through the air, into the distance, hit something, and then some of the territory is lit up, and you're like, oh, there was a cavern there. Oh, there's a bunch of enemies there. Oh.
My God, this is fabulous. My God. One thing I do want to ask is, in fact, let's cast our minds back for a moment. Zelda, right? Zelda is like Mario in that these games, well, it's a little different from Mario, but it's like Mario in the sense that the games serve as mascots for the new device that Nintendo's put out.
Yes.
Everyone, yeah. However, when it comes to Zelda, when it comes to Mario too, but the truth is Mario, he's a lot more versatile. You can put in a cart and
he's a doctor, he's a cart player, he's a fighter,
There's no way.
He's a partier.
He may own love hotels soon, who knows? But oh dear, that would be a funny one.
Don't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, oh my God, Nintendo, boy, it's been a while. But that being said, the Zelda character, on the other hand, well, Link, or the whole Zelda series, is at maximum? Is it limited to like 2 games per console, or what do you think? Zelda. I mean, there've been how many Zelda games on the Game Boy? There've been maybe 3. I'm not sure.
Game Boy had Link's Awakening, and then Color had Age of Seasons, Age of Age of Seasons, Age of Time. Yeah, there's been a few per console, but most of them, there isn't a limit, a hard limit to them, but you are right in that they are brand ambassadors. They are flagship titles. A Legend of the Zelda game is a landmark event. It's, the company puts a lot of time, a lot of money. It's under incredible lockdown to make the game polished. A Mario game, an officially licensed Mario game, doesn't come out unless everything has been sandblasted to pristine perfection. And Zelda feels like that too. But you do occasionally get a few, sly games coming out the side, a few bits and pieces here and there. Like there were three Zelda games on the Wii, but one was a spin-off.
Aha. Yeah, okay, right. That's a good point. Now, it's funny that, sorry, my mind just, when you're talking about the consoles, my mind just, for a brief moment, jumped over to was it Sony? Not Sony, Nintendo, when they tried to cheat Sony, and then they made that Zelda game that looked hilarious.
The 3D, the CD thing.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh.
I thought that whole thing makes you say, Nintendo, serve you right for being a backstabbers. Now you get the face.
They learned that lesson. They created a competitor.
Yeah, they should have just left. This should have honored their deal with Sony, but instead of wanting to be slimy. But oh well. Next thing you know, Sony's praising Mario. Apparently, Shigeru for making the Mario movie. Maybe he wants to get Zelda to be made with Sony Studios. I mean, because Universal making Zelda would be a bit too cartoony. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if who knows. Do they make serious stuff?
Yeah, they can. Zelda is a series that can lean towards the fantastic or to the macabre. You could have a serious, character-driven fantasy a la The Witcher, using the Zelda canon, and that wouldn't be out of question. But you could also go whole hog on the Mario thing and make it cartoony. We've had cartoony Zeldas, we've had serious Zeldas, we've had everything in between. Yeah. We've had garbage Zeldas, a la the CDs.
Oh, that's that. I remember that. That one, that Zelda experience was like I can't say it's like the Bob Hoskins Mario movie in that to be honest, I hadn't even seen it fully. I don't remember it entirely, but I remember everybody dunking on it, and I don't know. But all I know is that if the movie of Zelda in any way resembled what came out in that CD thing, that would crack me up.
There would be a fan revolt like the likes of which you had never seen. It would be worse than when they introduced the man-hog version of Sonic, the first Sonic with the human teeth. Yeah, and Gangster's Paradise. Seriously, what the were they thinking? Is he a gangster now? What the hell? I mean, great song, but he's a hedgehog, for fuck's sake.
Oh god! If you know what, on YouTube, I think it's still up there. Somebody put the Super Mario movie to Gangster's Paradise with some sort of a filter. I think it's like a tongue-in-cheek joke for the whole thing. But but yeah. That being said, when it comes to Zelda, oh right, the original question. So about 2 or 3. So I was thinking maybe the maximum is 3 Zeldas per, like you said, or including spin-offs per console. So this is the second Zelda on the Switch, right? So in other words, is that signpost or signal that a new Switch or new Nintendo consoles on the horizon?
I hope so. I mean, it's fairly common that games late in a console cycle, especially Nintendo games, really squeeze every drop out of the device. Some of the most visually impressive, graphically intensive games come out right in the tail end of it, because developers have had time to explore the technology, to expand upon it, to try different things, to build on what other companies have tried. So seeing this level of quality, it should be a giant flag saying, hey, check this space soon. It should be. But, when they released Doom, 2016 on the Switch. I thought that was this is it. This is the flag. This is, hey, as good as this is going to get. We got a PlayStation 4 game running smoothly, I might add. To any of you out there who are on the fence about getting it, I got it on the Switch, and chef's kiss, beautiful.
Yes. I must say, mate, when you, I that being said, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they made the Switch Pro. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. They made the Switch.
No, OLED.
That's one.
They made OLED, but that was just a graphical improvement. The battery's better, the cooling system's better, the visuals are much better. The actual processing power is not better. It's no more powerful than than earlier Switches. So a lot of people didn't pick one up, or at least a portion of people who might have picked it up didn't, because it wasn't the Pro. We were wanting a Pro, and this wasn't a Switch Pro.
Well, I'm thinking, here's the thing with Nintendo. I mean, when they, of course, it's what I love about Nintendo. I'm sure a lot of people do too. Is that they're very innovative with their technology. I mean, again, you take Xbox, and in my opinion, Xbox. Again, this is why I love Japanese stuff, and especially Nintendo's. Xbox, it looks like it's existing just for the sake of competing sometimes. That is to say, everything it's there to do is just to try and outdo graphically or maybe hardware wise what the other guys are doing. But Nintendo feel like the innovators in that every console that they make, they try and make it operate differently. You know, so you come from even the GameCube. I guess it wasn't that different, but well, to be honest, I haven't really again explored it that much myself, so I don't want to speak ill of it. But at least from the Wii to the Wii U, you can see what they're trying to do. And then by the time the Switch came out, it was like the proper. The Switch was the Wii U done right. So it's almost like if the Switch came out instead of the Wii U, that would have been perfect. And then on top of that, when it came to the handhelds, now the Switch is again married the two, because if Nintendo's on the smartphones, then why not just make an actual portable home console, which is what the Switch is. And then before that, you had the 3DSs, the 3DS, the 2DS. It's essentially the 3DS again. I think the 3DS and the Wii U are both examples of consoles not done properly. That's to say, the 3DS, my nephew loves it and all that, but it did get a lot of complaints over the giving people glassy eyes over the Panasonic.
I still have mine. I occasionally dig it out and play a game, but I don't play it in 3D. I find the console's excellent because it's strong enough to play graphically intensive, well-crafted games, but I don't play it for the 3D. It's just a D.
And that was it, exactly. D. That's not funny. Oh, but that is the whole selling point.
It's like I've owned every single incarnation of a Game Boy. I owned the brick. I had the color, and every step of the way I was there. Every upgrade I was there. I was there for the midnight launch of the Nintendo DS, the DSi, the 3DS, and the new 3DS.
Okay.
So I've done my due diligence. I've put in my time, and I paid my dues. But that's because Nintendo has dominated the portable gaming market since they basically created it.
Yes.
They've always been the front line, and other companies have produced better products. The PS Vita is hands down the greatest handheld console they ever created. Other more recent handhelds are basically portable PCs or portable home consoles. Like a dedicated portable, the PS Vita was fantastic, but they went too big. They made it too expensive, too complicated. It should have been a portable instead of a portable home unit. The world wasn't ready for that. But Nintendo has always done this, but I think that's because of the management. Nintendo, before they got into video games, were a toy company. And they've always strived to ensure that they keep a sense of whimsy, a sense of fun in everything they do. Sony feels like a media company or a technology company making games. And Microsoft feels more like a multinational. It's also by the books. It's so basic. It's like, hey, we'll give you the most powerful device, and it can play DVDs and play the TV. And you're like, yeah, but what else could it, what's its hook? And it's like, hey, it can do everything. I have other stuff that does that. That's not in it. It's like, oh, I can give you a radio. That's also a clock. I've got a clock and I've got a radio.
That is exactly the gripe I had with even PlayStation. I mean, Microsoft is even the next level.
That's my problem with Xbox. They're just so business minded.
The heart is missing of a game company.
Yeah, where's the whimsy? Where's the joy? Sony after PlayStation 1 clicked on. When they got PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 2 is the greatest console ever created statistically. Yeah. Because just because they made it so easy to produce for. It had the largest library.
Yeah.
And there was so many bad games. So very many bad games on the PlayStation. But that freedom allowed smaller companies to try new things, and we got some absolute gems, some genre breakers. Whole fields, whole shelves of games wouldn't exist if not for the experimentation that occurred on PlayStation 2. But that was in the software, the characters, the gameplay. The PlayStation console was kind of run of the mill. It was, hey, clever that they've added a DVD player. Smart move. But the console was pretty by the books. Nintendo, you're quite right, experiments with the way we play. Yeah. And I do want to tie this up with mentioning game theory. Big fan of game theory. Matt, been watching it for years. He made a theory a few years ago about his idea of where the Switch was going, what direction they wanted to take the company. I haven't seen anything materialize for that, which is a shame, really. But we all know the beloved Joy-Cons. Yes, they might drift like Tokyo, but they are such a clever, just a genuine way to play. You can snap them on, get a Pro controller, or very, very responsive. Can you see that at the bottom of one of the controllers? That's an IR sensor. And imagine it taking your Switch out and about, which is one of the things they promoted, the freedom of using a Switch, and playing a game, and then flipping the Joy-Con up and having an augmented reality game, using this as a camera to play a game in the real world. Now, Nintendo experimented this with the 3DS. The early 3DS had a bunch of complementary cards with an IR games in them, and they were playing with augmented reality as in the middle of the 2000s. So this has been on their radar for a while, but there were talks that this could be the next evolution of AR gaming.
That's it. I think you said it, dude. It's like Labo. When you put that, it's like you can have a makeshift. I love the idea that their answer to the Sony's VR headset thing was like Labo.
Cardboard.
Yeah, I was like,
build your own. That's so Nintendo. Exactly, oh my god!
Because it's toy and game. So and that's exactly it. What you said. I love where you brought this back to the roots of the toy company, because I think that's the key to the innovation, is the fact that they look at what works, and this is, like I said, what lacks in the other companies. Remember those PlayStation ads where they'd be like this random person looking up into the sky saying, "This is living" or something. I think, and then I remember on well, not to go down Guru Larry Street, but I just remember one poster in a subway that said, "The game is just the beginning." And I said in my mind, I said, that's the problem, because for you, the game is a means to something. You see, the game is the beginning to whatever your priorities are in Sony. In Nintendo, the game is the thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The game should be the thing. It shouldn't be the, oh, by the way, it plays games. Oh, by the way, it does this. Same Sony and Xbox. They're thinking, whatever, as long as we can make money from this thing, we'll give you games as, it's like adding sugar or adding a little sweet something to your Happy Meal or something.
Yeah, it's a hook to get you in the door, but they're like, oh yeah, it plays games and it does other stuff. No, I've got other stuff, but I applaud Nintendo for always keeping their eyes on the prize, for making games, for keeping their consoles focused on pure experiences. And it's it's done really well for them. You know, the
Yes.
Switch dominated this generation. It's been sold like gangbusters, made them an
Yeah.
absolute mint, and it has shown that no matter how novel, no matter how many apps you add to your home screen, no matter how much you make it a family entertainment system or a media connection, it's supposed to be fun.
Yes, a fun game. That's essentially it. I love that the core is there, and what you're saying about AR, I'll try and save some of it for Suzuka because my mind was thinking when AR was kicking off with the 3DS, I was thinking, Nintendo, why don't you just make all the Pokemon cards AR already and just reinvent the whole bloody thing? But for some reason, no. So I'm sure they have their reasonings, but I'm thinking, you know,
On the PlayStation 3, there was a game that tried this. It had a rig that you set up and a tabletop, and then when you play the cards, you watch the battle play out in like AR on screen. I didn't play it, but I remember looking into this, going, "I'm interested in this because this is the first step to a full Yu-Gi-Oh!"
yeah, dog. I mean, this is it. I mean, we have to wait. I think we have to wait and see what happens.
I think that the idea is there, but getting active AR is difficult. I mean,
Yeah, technically speaking, I think the logistics to consider. There's a technical aspect. That's to say, if it, like look, think about how messed up some people's lives got with the 3DS. No, I mean it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't necessarily it wasn't like your own personal IMAX experience. By the time you tilt it, you say, oh wait, it's not real. But that's one thing. But that experience plus what
I'm thinking
happens
more that I'm thinking more the dangers that occurred when Pokemon Go was during its major fever. When that really took off and everyone was playing it, it was wonderful. People from all walks of life were owing out, sharing a game, communicating, gathering around places in the city and just conversing. And that was a wonderful, celebrated moment in gaming. But we also had people who died. People who went out of their way, out of their way, and went into places they shouldn't. And if we add that, that was just like following a map. Putting a game onto your GPS map. If we had a game that literally used the real world as the backdrop and it superimposed Pokemon onto it, we would have people walking into roads.
Yeah, and that's exactly. So this is what I'm sure they're thinking about. My God, I'd love to get. I mean, I'm networking these days, but I'd love to get. Well, I'd love to actually get to work with Nintendo in some sort of professional capacity. But if at very least, I just end up being in talks with people